Welcome to the Zapata Brand Podcast, Boxing Edition.
Hey guys, George Zapata from the Zapata Brand Podcast, giving you a quick update of last night's fight. Obviously, we were wrong. The only one that picked it right was Rich. Coach Rich had that on point. I think he's had that on point for about a month. We've been talking about it. It wasn't what I expected because I just didn't know how Crawford would react. I thought he looked not so sure of himself at the weigh-in, and I was wrong. He knew exactly what he had to do. He knew exactly where he was going to be. He had a great game plan. He had game plan after game plan. He stayed southpaw, which was working for him, which is what I figured he would stay. If he's working the southpaw position well, he's going to stay there. He did. Coach D did say that he thought Spence would walk him down. Spence tried to walk him down. It didn't work. So he had no answer after that. It was a very brutal fight for Spence, as you could tell here in the picture. He did get beat up. That's why I don't think there'll be a rematch. I just don't. I think there's really, maybe at 54, certainly not at 47. I think Spence had a lot of trouble making the weight. He did look dry at the weigh-in, but overall, Terrence Crawford probably solidifies himself as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters of all time. Right, last night's fight proved he is once-in-a-generation talent. We all asked to have him fight, and he wanted to fight with Spence. He wanted it. He got it, and he performed. But what you do now is exactly what I'm talking about on the podcast. This is why boxing and life are parallel. Right here. This podcast will show you life struggles, boxing, how they intertwine with each other. I'm going to have guests on that are going to talk about their struggles and what they've gone through and how you get through them, and now they're successful people. When times are tough, and this, I can't imagine what Spence is going through right now. You go through all that training. You go through all the build-up, the 2 year of negotiation. You come to this crescendo, and then you lose like that. So sometimes in life, you go through these times where you put your heart and soul into everything. You do everything you can, and then you fail. But it's going to be critical as to what Spence does now. He had a setback last night. Errol Spence is a great fighter. Terrence Crawford was better. Like and subscribe to the Zapata Brand Podcast on YouTube. Remember, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do in yours.